is an interactive show where high vibe souls come together to read energetic patterns through the evolution journey deck. Are you ready to expand into the cosmos and connect with your star family? Sit back, relax, and connect into the frequency of your highest potential with host Kathy Reed.
Hi, this is Kathy. I'm the host of StarSeed Continuum, and I have a panel of the most beautiful souls here with me, and we're going to just express and talk about our brilliance. And we've got two subjects today. The first subject is share our awareness of the blips, the glitches, the timeline collapsing of the matrix. And I'm really noticing this. I've had some really strange things happen, and I want to share that. And then the second question is, I would just like to open it up to you wonderful people. And I'd like to open it up to what have you really embodied and had chills on, like our experiences with the platform, DQ, advanced intuition, ohm codes, the journey cards, the 7 elements, the 5 levels of consciousness, the God sphere, source intelligence, and source technology turning on. Those are some of the subjects, and I want you guys just to share whatever's coming in from your divine self. And so the first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to share what I've been seeing this last week. It's been in the last week. I have been seeing these little, they're little spheres, and they have holes in them, and they're spherical. And inside of those spheres is a hologram. And in the hologram, I'm communicating with telethought. And this has been happening more and more. And that is my experience. It's like they just have turned on and lit up. And so I'm watching them kind of bounce around, and I'm thinking, am I making this up? Absolutely not. It's really happening. That is my big experience. Does anybody want to share first on what you guys are seeing? Okay, Denise.
I was heading to the post office to ship out a box, and the phone rang, and I immediately knew it was my husband, and that I had forgotten to take the box with me. And my car was already turning around to go back to the house to pick it up, even before the conversation. And the other little glitchy thing that's been happening is things are like disappearing and reappearing. It's like when I was packing this box, right? I took the shipping label and I set it off to the side, close to where the box was. And then when I went to put it in the box, I could not find it anywhere. That actually hasn't reappeared yet. I had to print a new shipping label. And the other thing that happens is I went through this a couple of months ago, and it settled down. But then I was doing a session with Kathy and Erica this morning, and they came back, and they're like little translucent bubbles. And it's like I am seeing through the matrix or something. And my reality is changing and dissolving. And as I was sitting with because I was having bubbles this morning, and it was like I'm ascending into my light body is what I was hearing. And I mean, we all imagine the light body being different, but it's like particles, light particles is what I was seeing. And as my light body is ascending, I am actually starting to see those particles, and it is my body, but I'm seeing it, and I'm shifting. It's hard to put into words, but yeah, kind of weird. And it's like, whoa. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Denise, because I'm having things appear and disappear too. That's why I really wanted to talk about this subject on this particular podcast. And so I'm going to turn it over to Eleni.
I just want to piggyback on that, Denise, that had the in and out kind of thing. This morning, I woke up at 2 a.m. and I just was wide awake. And then I said, oh, this is interesting. I'm just going to go with this. It's not like me. And I was just laying there and I was bringing the elements in, but so fast, it went to exactly what you were trying. I mean, you can't describe it, but it was this. And I was just going higher and higher and higher, where it felt deeper and deeper, but it was higher, higher. And my whole body was just getting chills and it was so beautiful. But what is so interesting that I just remembered, 3 times now it's happened. Twice I was driving and I thought, those spotlights when there's like an event and it's like, follow here. I was like, oh, that's weird. I just saw that. I'm like, what? There's nothing going on. It's a Thursday night. So I just keep driving. And as a kid, I used to love those because it's like, where's the party? What's going on? But I'm always looking in the sky. I loved it. And I thought, this is so weird. There's nothing around here. Like where I live, there'd be no party. There's no spotlights going on. So whatever. Okay. I saw something. And then it happened again. And this time I was in the backyard and I'm like, that is so, and I'm like, okay, thank you. I don't need to go online to find if I'm looking for spotlights or things. It was really cool. And it was the same exact, the feeling, the light. It was so cool. It was very galactic.
And what I've been feeling into lately is I read on Google that more as we're ascending into our highest frequency, that's when the galactics are going to meet us. And you're going to you don't know when, where, or what, but it's going to be like because we're going to meet the frequency of the Galactic Federation, and it's just going to see the lights of the spaceship. That's what you're seeing, Elani, is the lights of the spaceship. And so thank you for sharing. Okay, Luann, you want to share?
Yeah, similar kind of things appearing and disappearing. I've had a couple. One was just a couple of days ago. I took my daughter to have a massage and I was sitting at a friend's house. She massages in a separate building. So it's this beautiful garden space. I'm sitting out there, took the book with me out of the car, put it on the table by my water and my coat and thought, okay, I think I'm ready to read. I went back and looked for the book. There was no book on the table. No book on the table. And so I'm like, well, I can't go in the room and look. And so I thought, well, I'll just go back to the car. So I went back to the car. It was in the car. But I remember picking the book up and setting those 3 things down on the table, and then it's gone and it's somewhere else. And then I've had another recent experience where I've came home and I had the fairies. Yeah. They transported. So I came home with one of those little immune shots, ginger turmeric shots from the health food store. And I already had another one in the refrigerator. So I remember putting the new one in the refrigerator, pulling the old one out, it was a little more dated, drinking it, going back a couple days later this week even to get that second ginger shot out and drink it and enjoy it. It was gone. It was nowhere to be. There's no memory of me having downed that other shot. It's just poof. And that kind of stuff keeps happening a lot. And I've also had experiences. I've always kind of seen through the veil a little bit to a degree. I mean, it's happened all my life. But it's happening more. And when it happens more, it's got a completely different frequency to it. I was standing in the kitchen the other day and it's just like, I don't know how to explain it anymore. Like this, it dissolved and this other being's in the room with me. And it's this, I couldn't even see it all completely, but it was this other presence and this other being in the room with me. But it didn't feel anything at all like what I've experienced or had happen in the past. It was completely different frequency. And it was like, wow, okay, this is different. So your story about the spaceships, yeah. I think we're going to start seeing things we haven't seen before. Yeah. In tools and things that I've used, it's like all the tools we've had on the platform and we've been working with are so becoming integrated in my body, the divine technology shifting on, that it has shifted so much for me personally. It's not like I could take one tool and say, this is it. They've become unified in a whole, and it's just really beautiful.
Elaine.
Can I jump back in? Because that made me think of something too, all the tools. And since I'm newer to this platform, what I really loved and appreciated, the friends that I've connected with off, on our own things, their tools that maybe they, have found that help them. The sharing with me for that has helped me understand it more and to bring it all together. So that's more of just this community. I'm so grateful to have this soul family that I feel like my whole life I've been trying to, it's such a beautiful place. It's a place that I can be myself and people understand and help guide. The guidance that you're giving and the support is just, it's so amazing. And so I'm so thankful. I just want to say how blessed I feel for that.
Thank you. Okay, let's go with Aubriana and then we'll go with Hailey.
Awesome. I just want to piggyback off of that, because for the tools, when I was just kind of sitting with that, for me, it's the community. It really is, because it's all of the tools, but to be able to have a community to hold reflection for me to even know where to start, that was like what really changed, so much stuff in my life. And, I always suggest to other people to surround themselves with people who, if they're musicians, surround yourself with musicians who are better than you, if they're a singer, the same thing. And for me, it's like to surround myself in a community of people who, have been doing this work for longer or, understand more than me, has just really helped me step up in multiple different ways, on and off the platform. So that's been kind of my experience so far.
Well, one of the things that I know for sure is out there in the public, as we walk by somebody, we are coding them with a frequency. I went to the hardware store this week, and I went down there. I got an air filter and I brought it home. I looked at the air filter. I swear to God, it said an 18-inch and I needed a 16-inch. And so I got in my car. I went back down to the hardware store and I handed it to the lady and told her I needed a 16-inch. She looked at me like I was nuts. I had already bought a 16-inch. And so who knows why I was called back to the store? Who did I need to walk by? Who was coded by the divine frequency? That's the kind of things that we're going to run into now. It's just, and we can't make this stuff up. That's my tagline. So, Hailey, are you ready to share?
Yeah, I am definitely ready to share. So regarding like the glitches, I'll speak to that first. Mine might not be as profound, but if I'm looking forward, I see the material object, the dense object in front of me. But now more so in the peripheral, I'm seeing it kind of dissipate into just energy. And one could put that down as maybe my eyesight, but it's not, because as I'm turning, I'm seeing this energy rather than a dense body or being in front of me, which is really magical because I'm feeling the energy a lot more and I love it. If you don't mind, I'll just go right into the secondary part of that.
Yeah.
So like speaking to the tools that I've learned here, I came in as a complete novice. I have always loved the idea of religion or what have you, spirituality. Never had it in my upbringing. I was fortunately and so grateful that I have Eleni as a friend, because she guided me here. And with that, I came in with a very, kind of a severe trauma that I've been dealing with. And just from being literally rock bottom in the 3D, hang on, because I get a little emotional talking about this, but, whether it's life and death, that point to now where I feel absolute joy, I see beauty. I've learned so much. And so not only for myself, but people around me, maybe they're close friends and maybe they're just acquaintances, but they've come to me and affirmed that, thank you for being this light, and you have helped me here or there or such. So you guys and what this platform has done for me is just sheer beautiful life. And I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Are we ready to hear from Serena?
I don't know if I'm ready to hear from Serena. I was just thinking, everything that everyone said, I've had a few UFO experiences in the last 6 months. The last one was about 2 months ago. I literally see them out my window of my house because I have kind of like a field out here. The last one had brilliant emerald green lighting. And I knew it was something different. It was probably midnight or something. I think I woke up and looked out, because I don't have any curtains on the south side of my house because it looks out on nature. And I thought, that looks different, so I went out. And it was super cold, it was recently. And so I went out on my deck and just looked at it. It was just sitting in one place, no noise, absolutely no noise. And I just observed it, and then all of a sudden, after about 10 minutes, it went zip, just like to where I couldn't see it anymore. It just went sideways somewhere else. And I thought, that was not a plane, that was not a helicopter, that was not it certainly wasn't anything that normally is hanging out. It was very, very lovely to see that. I mean, I knew what it was. And I was so grateful, because I've been sort of calling them in. I've been asking to connect more with the Galactics. And as far as, I had an experience yesterday, this just talking about being light and transforming our environment. I finally got online to get my transportation, my airfare to Arkansas for the retreat. And I always call when I use air miles. I never try to do it on the computer by myself. And this lady kept saying, well, you could do this. I can tell you what to do and you can do it online. I go, no way. And by the time we figured out my tickets, it was 45 minutes of her labor going everywhere, trying to find the same flight or the same airline for both flights to and from. And it was a fiasco. And I said to her a couple of times, I said, now do you understand why I want to do it through you? I said, I would be freaking nuts if I did this on my own. And we were giggling and we had all of this, she was like saying to me, gee, this has been such a lovely experience, and, it was just, I thought, okay, this is what's going on. I was supposed to connect with her and have this very lengthy adventure, getting things straightened out. And I was so grateful. And she was over the moon grateful that I was grateful, There was just all this wondrous energy that got exchanged as a result of this. And that's the kind of thing unexpectedly that can come up when we just beam ourselves out there. And, to talk about, I've been on this platform for over 2 years now. So it's really hard to pinpoint, oh, this tool is the most meaningful or anything like that, because it's a blend by now. It's a blend, but it is, and the community, like others have talked about, the community of people, this is my family. This is where I can be myself and expose myself, whatever I'm going through or whatever, and not worry about judgment. Get ideas from others, you know, get support, you know, somebody else will have some brilliant idea that I hadn't thought of to move through something. It's just been beyond anything I ever expected to find here when I started. I joined, you know, to do a weight loss thingy, you know, I'm still about the same weight, but boy, have I transformed. I'm much lighter in my being. And Jules did an activation on something about a week or so ago. I don't even know which program because there's so many a week, but I had the experience of seeing my being completely, only having light inside. And I have been able to hold that. I mean, it's right there. I only am filled with light. It's really, really cool. I'll shut up because I've just gone, ah.
No, it's perfect. Jennifer, are you ready to share?
Yeah, I just have a short thing. And the thing that I'm noticing the most is the time thing. I don't even know where this past 6 months went. I wake up and it's 8 o'clock and then all of a sudden I'm in bed again at night. So it just seems like, you know, if you saw the list of things I had on the day, it may not be much, but for some reason at the time, I can't explain it. I've never felt this type of speed in my days and subsequently then months. And then also I'm noticing more, what I love about this platform is it helps me hold myself accountable, because when I show up, I want to be really authentic. And I want to know that when I'm speaking from how I'm living my life each day. And I want to be doing the best that I can with the tools that we're given. And I think that I know that I'm not always in this bliss state and feeling like I'm the light. I go in and out of feeling like I'm 5 pounds and feeling like I'm 500. The density, that shedding, I mean, it at times can feel very heavy. And then other days I'm out hiking for 3 hours and life's just, so I am noticing some fluctuations. It's not just this, oh, isn't this lovely? But like Serena said, to piggyback on that, there's something, if my outer has transformed my world, my reality, but in areas that it hasn't been huge, it doesn't matter anymore to me because I feel the shift on the inside and I know it's coming. It's just a matter of time, however Jules says that your body goes first and then your consciousness catches up. I think that's how she says it. Anyway, so those are my 2 cents.
Thank you for sharing. Now I'm going to open it up to anybody that would like to share. Luann, do you want to share?
Yeah, I was just going to piggyback on what Jennifer and Hailey were saying, that density, and Jennifer, or Hailey, you were talking about the things, the way things kind of disintegrate, you know, and to see, and it's like, I'm experiencing that too. I just had a call this morning where it's almost like there was this wave between me and the person in front of them. It was just like a curtain would be blowing in the wind, but it was the person on the screen, you know, and it's just wild the way that is happening. And Jennifer, what you were saying to piggyback on the density is that I'm, and manifest this week, Leanne kind of pointed this out with what she saw, is that I'm feeling more in my body than I ever have before. And sometimes it almost feels like a density, but I know it's not the density of what I've moved through. But as I'm sitting with it, there's an expansion and being more in my body than I've ever been before that feels completely different than anything I've ever felt before. And it's really kind of beautiful and amazing to kind of lean into that and just Yeah, no, I love what you said about the body leading, that the body leads and the consciousness follows, because that's the process that I feel like we're in, and that's right there. And I don't know what else to say about it. For some reason, it just really brought that forward, because that's something I've really been sitting with for a few weeks now, and it's really interesting to watch. And the density keeps getting stronger and bigger, but it's not density like I think of density. It's embodiment. It's really coming into holding the frequency, and I love it. So thanks, Jennifer, for sharing that.
Serena.
Something I didn't mention that has really been profoundly different for me is I'm considered a senior citizen, you know, and when for years, every time there was a birthday time, I was like, oh my God, stop, you know, this can't be happening. I'm not that person. And I have a big birthday coming up in a couple of weeks again. And, you know, I have used so much in the last few years through this program, and I no longer even give a darn at all about the number that I am coming into or have now, or, you know, it's like, wow, is that a relief? Not to even, it's like, who cares? You know, and I went to the dentist the other day, and he was talking, I have a very unusual tooth that they took one of the roots off of because I begged them not to pull it 8 years ago. And he keeps saying, well, you know, you're going to have to pull that sometime, and you probably go into, you know, building up your bones so we can stick a tooth in there. And, you know, I'm thinking, wait and see, buddy. I'm not going there. My teeth are rebuilding. Even though I've got root canals all over and crowns and all that, my teeth are only getting younger, as is the rest of me. And that's, you know, that's really fun to just have this expert tell me what's coming and go, ha, 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 fooled ya.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Serena. I wanted to share a little bit about, I've had about 3 or 4 UFO experiences, and I kind of wanted to share them with y'all. I live in a kind of a rural area, so there's not many people. There's empty fields. And so I was driving, I pulled off the side of the road, and I'm standing there. And all of a sudden, this triangle ship went over me it was not that high. And I watched it. And I'm thinking to myself at the time, because it was really a little bit before we got 2 years ago. And I'm looking up, and I'm like going, I'm not hearing anything. There was no sound, but there were lights on the ship. It was like some of the ships they talk about in Arizona that have been around the city. And I'm watching this, and I'm going, this is very interesting. And so, yeah, that was one of my experiences. I found out later that there is a base at Lake Mead in a mountain over there. And it is called, the commander is called Valiant Thor. And he has a base on the other side of the lake, which we don't have very much of a lake left in Lake Mead. But so what would happen is that would fly over my city, my little Overton. It would fly over, and then it would go into the mountain. And I just happened to catch it. And so Valiant Thor actually came to the Earth in the Eisenhower era. And he had a meeting at the Pentagon with President Eisenhower. And he said, I can cure all illness. I can do everything. All you have to do is say the word. And what Eisenhower said at that time, it was just, he just didn't feel that the American public was ready for it. And in 59 or 57, we weren't ready for it. But I do feel that there are more and more people that are waking up and talking about their experiences. And that's why I can talk about my experiences now, is that we're catching up. with this technology that's opening up. And so with that, there's a couple of more. I've had streaking things across the sky and stuff. I've just been blessed because I really embody my galactic. So I see a little bit more and trust a little bit more than some people, but everybody, all of us have that capability of really catching it. Look at Serena's experience. And so, yeah. And so does anybody else has anything to share for Denise?
I just want to kind of piggyback on Elaine's comment about seeing those like spotlight kind of things. And I mean, it just came to me as you were sharing that. It's like, oh my God, because the veil is being, I want to say lifted. And as our technology is changing, it's like me with these spots and being able to see through the illusion. It's almost like we've been in a hologram and we're seeing the glitches of the illusion now. And those spaceships are always all around us, but we've been trained to not see those spaceships because for whatever reason, like we can go back to the Eisenhower days, there's this belief that humanity can't handle the truth. And we're ready. And it's so amazing, Kathy, that we are actually talking about this on this program today, and it's going to be uploaded and it's going to go out to the world. And people are going to go, oh my God, I'm not crazy. I saw those lights too. Yeah. It really is happening. And we're awakening to the real truth, the real reality that exists. And the matrix is coming down. It's collapsing. We can't. And I'm so grateful that we've evolved enough frequency wise that we can no longer support that false matrix. Yeah, it's time. It's time to reunite with our galactic brothers and sisters. And they've been with us all the time. We haven't been able to see through the veil. And I can't believe I've even been saying all this stuff, but
And they're really helping us. They've done a lot of things to make sure the planet isn't gone.
oh yeah,
they're
thank God.
assisting everywhere that they can, hoping that we're going to get it. Because they're not there to just save us if we don't climb aboard with helping ourselves.
Yeah. What I know for sure is we have to save ourselves, and then we'll get out of the playpen and we'll be able to sit at the Galactic Federation table and share our brilliance. Hailey, did you have something to share?
Yeah, just speaking to that, I think there's a lot of negativity around social media, which is fair. But then there's a lot of positive, because I've seen so much social media about just what you're speaking about. Proof, pictures, just people that I wouldn't normally have expected to see these things, and then some that do. And then friends sending me photos and sharing all kinds of pictures in the clouds. And when you expand upon it or highlight it, it's clear. It's so clear. And I think just having that, our world is so small now with the social media and the IT that's going on. It gives us that confidence that, like you were saying, somebody else sees what I see. It kind of makes you feel a little bit not as crazy. I mean, we're not, but I think before all that, people would probably have questioned that. Not that it matters, but I think it's more of a common denominator now, which is beautiful.
And I know that we're in spherical time, but the timing is perfect.
Yeah.
For this to be, and I know that they've been saying for a few years that there is going to be disclosure. Mm-hmm. And I think we're in the middle of it, and it's going to be organic and just very a natural phenomenon, because more and more of us are waking up. We're finding our place, we're finding our platform, we're doing our spiritual discipline, and we're stepping in to our magnificence and brilliance. So before we close this call, I want to ask if there's any last minute shares, because this is something that's exciting me and I haven't felt comfortable to share this, but I'm sharing it. So Aubriana.
I'll go ahead and share my experience, because when you said exciting, I was like, yeah. Because, and I've even thought about starting like a little group in my area, because I keep being like, people keep coming to me with the same kind of things. And so anyways, my share is that my mom and I were at a show, and we were in football Coliseum, and so we were really, really high up, and I kept like asking him, you know, like, hey guys, like I just want to hang out with you, like show me you tonight. And I just kept feeling like, because I was physically higher, I was like closer to them. But they didn't come out the whole night. And then my mom and I were driving home, and they finally showed themselves to us in the sky, and I was like, oh, thank you. And it kind of made me think about what you said, Kathy, about and I actually just recently heard the Eisenhower story. So that's so synchronistic for me. But yeah, I kind of felt like not everybody in the arena was ready to see it that night, but they did still show up for my mom and I on the way home. So, and it always just feels so sweet when I do get to see them and visit with them. And it's always like, you know, I think a big part of the disclosure is the raising of frequency, so that we can, you know, because the more we raise our frequency, the less static there is between them and us. So it's just really, it was really fun, and it was really exciting. So.
Well, thank you for sharing. And one of the things I know for sure, this is about an inside job. You know, we always thought that they were going to come and sweep us off and save us. Well, actually, they're actually waiting for us to awaken from inside out. And then we're going to see in a whole different, we're going to see them in a whole different light, is because as long as we're in the matrix, we're going from our programming on what they should look like, what they are. But as we are changing and moving up in frequency, then we're going to really get to experience who and what their frequencies, because they're just waiting for us to awaken, so that we can see each other. It's like the if you haven't seen Avatar, the water, the new one of the things I love about that is when they look in each other's eyes and said, I see you. And that's that feeling of love. That movie, if anybody hasn't seen it, is coded to the max. There's all kinds of coding. So if you get a chance, Cameron has done a really good job creating. I know it was 13 years in between the first Avatar and now, but because of I love science fiction and stuff, I just will probably go to the movie again. I went to the premiere, and it's like, I could go see it again. It's that it just talks to me and just speaks to me. And so we're out of time. It looks like we're at time. So we're going to get off the call. This has been really fun talking about my passion and what we love. And it's like having the courage to just speak up, because as we're speaking up, it's going to allow others to speak up too, because then we're going to find, oh my God, I've been thinking that too, or I seen something and I just discounted it because I thought it wasn't real, that I didn't want to be told that I have to go to the loony bin or whatever. So now, but that's what the old paradigm was, is that we can't speak about that. I'll be deemed crazy. And so now it's really beautiful, because one of the things that I know for sure is we don't have dress rehearsal anymore. We're in the new earth change right now. Yeah. We are living it. And so with that, we're going to end the call. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to StarSeed Continuum, where we connect you to your highest evolutionary pattern. To learn more ways to play with the Star family or to be a part of this live interactive show, visit activateevolution.com. Now go and live your highest potential.